The top 1% aren't the smartest, the strongest, or even the most talented. They're the most emotionally unshakable. While most people spiral at the first sign of rejection, failure, or conflict, the top 1% rise. They don't fall apart. They don't complain. They adapt, absorb, and alchemize pain into power. But here's what no one tells you: emotional resilience isn't genetic. It's not just how they are. It's a learned skill, and anyone, including you, can master it. In this video, we're not just talking about coping with life, we're talking about developing the kind of emotional resilience that makes people gravitate toward you, respect you, and rely on you, no matter what life throws at you. Because when you learn to respond instead of react, you stop being controlled by your emotions, and start controlling the narrative of your life. The world doesn't slow down for your healing. People will leave. Plans will fall apart. And life will throw punches you never saw coming. But here's the thing. Your power isn't found in avoiding pain. It's found in how quickly you bounce back from it. Emotional resilience is the ability to take hits and keep showing up. Not with fake positivity, but with grounded presence. Not with denial, but with inner strength that says, "This hurt, but it won't break me." In this video, we're diving into how the top 1% develop unshakable resilience. Checkmark the mindset shifts they've mastered, checkmark the emotional discipline they've developed, checkmark the hidden patterns they've broken, checkmark and the truth about pain that most people run from. We'll break it down step by step, through storytelling, psychology, neuroscience, and hard-won truths. And by the end, you'll understand why emotional resilience isn't a nice to have, it's the single greatest advantage you can have in relationships, career, and life. Let me tell you about Jordan. Jordan wasn't weak. He was ambitious, driven, and full of potential. But emotionally? Fragile. The kind of person who crumbled after every breakup, spiraled after every rejection, and lived in fear of disappointing others. When he didn't get the job, he spiraled into self-doubt. When a friend ghosted him, he replayed every interaction for weeks. When his partner criticized him, he became silent, shut down, or over-explained himself. He wasn't broken. He was just untrained. You see, Jordan, like many of us, never learned what to do with discomfort. He wasn't taught how to sit with shame, regulate rejection, or move through grief. He knew how to chase success, but not how to hold pain without collapsing. And because of that, every setback felt like the end. Now fast forward 2 years. Jordan is calm under pressure. He doesn't avoid hard conversations. He doesn't crumble after criticism. He responds, doesn't react. He's become the person people go to when everything falls apart, because he doesn't. What changed? He learned the tools of emotional resilience. And so can you. Because like Jordan, you're not weak. You're just waiting for the emotional training you were never given. That's what the rest of this video is all about. Let's get this straight. Emotional resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about mastering your nervous system so that pain no longer controls your decisions, reactions, or self-worth. When the top 1% face failure, they don't crumble. They process. They don't suppress emotions, they regulate them. And the difference is huge. What is emotional resilience, really? At its core, emotional resilience is your ability to recover from stress, adapt to challenges, and maintain inner stability in the face of adversity. Think about it. 2 people can go through the exact same event, a breakup, job loss, betrayal, and one will spiral for months while the other rises stronger than ever. The difference isn't luck. It's resilience. The science behind it: your brain has 2 key players when you're under stress. The amygdala, which triggers fear and emotional reactivity. The prefrontal cortex, which handles logic, planning, and problem solving. The top 1% know how to quiet their amygdala and activate the prefrontal cortex when challenges hit. In simple terms, they respond, not react. This ability to pause, breathe, and think, even when emotions run high, is what sets them apart. It's why they don't send angry texts at 2 a.m., why they don't crumble when life isn't fair, and why they recover faster from setbacks. Why most people struggle. Most of us were never taught how to handle emotions. We either explode, lash out, overreact, panic, or implode, bottle up emotions, shut down, and let them eat us alive. Neither of these builds resilience. Both are survival responses, not thriving responses. Before you can build emotional resilience like the top 1%, you need to understand why you currently lack it. Resilience isn't built on avoiding emotions. It's built on healing the wounds that make you emotionally fragile. Let's uncover the core truths that hold most people back. Truth number 1. You were taught to avoid pain, not process it. Most of us were raised to just get over it, be strong, or stop crying. This taught us to fear pain instead of seeing it as part of growth. The top 1% don't run from discomfort. They lean in. They know that every challenge carries a lesson, and pain, when processed, becomes power. Truth number 2. You confuse emotional strength with emotional numbness. There's a difference between being strong and being disconnected. Numbness is not resilience. Shutting down emotions doesn't make you strong, it makes you unavailable to yourself. The top 1% understand this. They feel deeply, but they don't let emotions hijack their behavior. Truth number 3. You lack a system for emotional regulation. When life gets tough, you rely on willpower, distractions, or avoidance. But resilience isn't built on ignoring pain, it's built on regulating it. The top 1% use tools like mindfulness, breathwork, reframing, and mental clarity techniques to process emotions in real time, instead of being ruled by them. Truth number 4. Your self-worth is conditional. If your worth rises and falls based on approval, success, or relationships, you'll never feel stable. Because life will always test you. The top 1% have self-sourced worth. They don't need validation to stay grounded. Their sense of value isn't shaken by rejection or failure. Truth number 5. You mistake setbacks for identity. When things go wrong, you think, I failed, therefore I am a failure. This belief destroys resilience. The top 1% don't take setbacks personally. They see them as data, feedback, and stepping stones. To them, failure isn't final, it's fuel. Why facing these truths matters. You can't build resilience on a shaky foundation. If you don't address these inner wounds, no amount of confidence hacks or positive thinking will work. Real resilience comes from doing the inner work to heal past traumas, build emotional regulation habits, stop outsourcing your sense of worth, train your mind to thrive under stress. The top 1% don't avoid challenges, they just don't let those challenges own them. But most people? They face these 5 silent killers of resilience every day, without realizing it. Let's break down the emotional traps that destroy inner strength, and how to avoid them like the elite do. Collision trap number 1. Reacting immediately instead of pausing. Most people respond to emotional triggers instantly. A breakup text? You reply with a 7-paragraph essay. A rude coworker? You snap back. That's not strength. That's emotional impulsivity. Top 1% strategy, the 90-second rule. When triggered, they wait 90 seconds before responding, just long enough to regulate the nervous system. In that space, they don't react. They respond, with clarity, not chaos. Collision trap number 2. Emotional isolation. When life gets hard, many people shut down or isolate. They disappear. They bottle everything up. And that loneliness festers into internal collapse. Top 1% strategy. They build resilience tribes. They have trusted circles, coaches, or mentors they lean on, not to vent, but to recalibrate. You don't need an audience. You need a support system built on strength, not sympathy. Collision trap number 3. Letting emotions drive the narrative. You feel unworthy? You act unworthy. You feel rejected? You assume abandonment is next. This emotional scripting is a mental prison. Top 1% strategy. They observe the emotion, but challenge the story. They ask, is this true? Or is this just a wound speaking? They don't trust every feeling. They investigate it. Collision trap number 4. Consuming emotionally disempowering content, scrolling through toxic dating advice, trauma bonding memes, and self-pity TikToks. You're wiring your brain to normalize victimhood. Top 1% strategy. They're intentional about what they feed their mind. Podcasts, books, mentors, and habits that nurture strength, not soothe weakness. Because what you consume, you become. Collision trap number 5. Seeking quick escapes instead of real recovery. Most people numb pain with food, sex, scrolling, alcohol, or overworking. They never truly process the storm. Top 1% strategy. They don't run from pain. They face it, feel it, and frame it. That's how you build emotional armor, by meeting life head-on, not sedating it. Let's destroy the lies society teaches us about emotional strength, because they're not just wrong, they're dangerous. These myths don't build resilience, they build repression, reaction, and identity confusion. Crossmark myth number 1. Just be positive. Toxic positivity tells you to smile through everything, suppress pain, and deny struggle. But ignoring emotions doesn't make you strong. It makes you emotionally numb. The truth. Resilience isn't fake smiles. It's real processing. Feel it. Move through it. Then grow from it. Crossmark myth number 2. Time heals all wounds. Nope. Time only hides what you didn't face. Unprocessed pain doesn't disappear. It mutates into self-sabotage, emotional triggers, and subconscious beliefs that ruin your life silently. The truth. Healing isn't passive. It's proactive. Resilience is built when you confront the wound with intention. Crossmark myth number 3. If it hurts, avoid it. Pain is your teacher, not your enemy. The top 1% don't run from what hurts. They use pain to develop emotional pattern recognition. What is this trying to teach me? What part of me needs to grow through this? The truth. If it triggers you, it's an invitation. Pain handled correctly builds precision, not paralysis. Crossmark myth number 4. Tough people don't cry. Let's be clear. Crying isn't weakness, it's release. The emotionally strongest people cry, but they don't drown in it. They don't let the emotion consume their decisions. The truth. Cry, process, integrate, move forward. That's not weak, that's warrior work. Crossmark myth number 5. Strong people don't need anyone. Independence is powerful. Isolation is destructive. The most resilient people in the world? They build networks, not walls. The truth. Emotional strength is knowing when to ask for help, and who to ask it from. You don't need everyone. You just need the right ones. Light bulb quick recap. To avoid the traps and myths that break emotional resilience, build response time, not reactions. Surround yourself with growth-oriented people. Feed your mind intentional content. Face pain proactively, not passively. Reject surface-level self-help. And do real emotional work. Let's imagine this version of you. You no longer panic when someone pulls away. You no longer spiral when plans fail, people leave, or emotions rise. You're calm, focused, rooted. You don't react, you observe. You don't chase, you choose. You don't collapse, you command. This is what emotional resilience feels like. Checkmark inner peace, not because life is easy, but because you are anchored. Checkmark respect from others, because your energy says, I trust myself. Checkmark deep self-worth, because your identity isn't based on outcomes. Checkmark powerful boundaries, because your nervous system is no longer addicted to chaos. Checkmark clear decision-making, because fear no longer clouds your thinking. Briefcase in business and career. You're no longer shaken by criticism. You're not afraid of rejection, feedback, or temporary loss. You speak with clarity, not insecurity. This is why the top 1% lead teams, scale businesses, and dominate industries. Not because they're fearless, but because they don't fold under fear. They've trained their emotional baseline to hold pressure. And now, so can you. Heartbreak in relationships. You stop over-explaining. You stop accepting breadcrumbs. You stop mistaking anxiety for connection. You walk away when necessary, not with anger, but with grace. Because you're no longer addicted to being chosen. You've chosen yourself. This is what the top 1% do. They don't wait for peace. They create it. Brain in your mind. You're no longer at war with your past. You don't shame your emotions. You don't numb your feelings to survive. You sit with what's hard. You breathe through what's scary. You grow through what was meant to break you. This is the kind of power no one can take from you. It's the kind of presence that walks into a room and shifts energy. Because resilience isn't loud. It's felt. And now, you're the one people lean on, not the one who collapses first. You've just learned the blueprint. But information isn't transformation. Integration is. So if you're serious about building emotional resilience like the top 1%, here's what you need to do. Repeat button step 1. Rewatch with a pen. Watch this video again, not as content, but as curriculum. Take notes. Highlight the wounds, the traps, the myths that mirror your life. Then make a decision. I don't react the way I used to anymore. Person in lotus position. Step 2. Practice the pause every time you feel triggered this week. Pause. Take a breath. Ask, is this a pattern or a present truth? What would the resilient version of me do right now? That moment is where your growth lives. Speech balloon. Step 3. Declare it. Drop a comment below. I am emotionally unshakable. Not for the algorithm, but for your subconscious. Let this be the first public declaration of the most powerful identity shift of your life. Bullseye. Step 4. Subscribe to Unshakable. This channel isn't for surface level motivation. It's for people building emotional wealth, relational depth, and unbreakable self-worth. We're not just healing here. We're building the version of you that doesn't fold, ever again. TV. And next week, we're diving into why you attract the wrong people, and how to fix it. Glowing star. Final words. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the richest. You don't have to be the strongest. But if you want to win in love, in business, in life, you have to be the one who doesn't break. Because the world respects calm. People trust stability. And life favors those who can lead themselves when the storm hits. The top 1% aren't emotionally invincible. They're emotionally trained. And starting today, so are you.